Hi all, so today we're filming a tutorial. I've called it Red Velvet Lips for Christmas. However, I have taken it from a picture I've seen from the autumn winter catwalks. The models that were working for Gucci had this sort of makeup on. So I'm going to take you through the tutorial, so keep watching. First of all, the look was all about really fresh, clean skin. So you want a really good base. So make sure you get a foundation that matches you perfectly. I'm using Clinique Super Balance in Sand. So I'm just putting a little bit on my hand, and what I'm actually going to do is just start blending it in with my fingers. This foundation is lovely. It's really, really soft and it blends really easily. So really blend it in with your fingers. Using your fingers really warms the foundation and makes it easier to move. I'm just going to go in with a sponge, and I'm just going to stipple it across just to make sure it's all blended. So next I'm going to go in my concealer, and I use Ideal Light Illuminator by Estee Lauder. And I'm just going to pop that in any dark areas. Now, to see if you've got any bags under your eyes, the best thing to do is look down and then look back up again in the mirror, and you'll see any darkness. So I've got a little bit in the corners of my eyes, so I'm just going to pop some of this on the back of my hand, and then just dab it on where it's needed. So don't put it all the way under the eyes, literally just the area that's needed, and blend out the edges. Now, the brows in the Gucci pictures weren't really filled in or done, they were left. So I really like that, so I'm literally just going to comb mine through. It just takes out any foundation that might have been left on there. Now, the eyes were pretty much neutral, so I'm just going to be brushing a pressed powder over the top. I'm using Luminous pressed powder by Sleek. Mine's in 02. Put that on. And it will just stop any oils coming up and things like that. So the eyelids appeared bare, but on closer inspection there was a bit of a contour going on. So if you take a shadow which is 2 maximum shades darker, just to put through your crease, that would be perfect. It was more of a warm tone than a cool tone, so I'm going to be using Wedge by MAC. So I'm just going in with my 217, I'm just dipping it in lightly, and I'm literally just putting that in my socket line. So the main focus of the eyes was spidery mascara, lots and lots and lots of mascara. So I'm going to be using High Impact. I use this all the time anyway, and it's great for volume, but I'll be putting on about 4 coats. So I just want to whack it on, because it's got to be really, really thick. Now make sure when you put it on that you don't get any on your eyelid whatsoever. Your eyelids need to seem clean and natural. So just before we do underneath the lashes and we wait for the top coat to dry, we will go in with a light pencil so their eyes were lined with a white. What I'm using is Eye Bright by Benefit. So now we're going to go back in with another coat of mascara to the top lashes. So they start to separate into clumps and look spidery. It's really good tip is to use the end, because you can start making little clumps there. Now if you've got anything under your eyelid like I did, just take a cotton bud with some makeup remover on it, or I'm using Max Fix Plus just to dampen it a little bit, and just gently go underneath and take it away. So at the start of this look I did put lip balm on my lips just to prepare my lips, just thought I'd throw that in there. So we're moving on to blush now, and it's just a little flush of colour that I want in the cheeks. I'm using Jemma Kidd's Makeup School No. 2 Cream Blusher. So I'm just going to pop a little bit on my finger And I'm just going to put a bit on the palm of my hand up the side. Now I can't take credit for this trick, this is learnt off Nikki Jackson. I think she might have learnt off someone else, I don't know. Just going to push your palms together, and you're then going to cup where your cheeks are and just press, just sort of hugging your cheekbones. So, and then just blend out the edges. I'm going to contour the face just lightly using the Sleek Contour Kit, so just right under that cheek colour from the back of the ear. Down. Now they did have highlight on, so you could either use the one in the contour palette, but I'm actually going to use, it's a mini one, High Beam from Benefit, because I think that really matches what they use in the pictures. So I'm going to put that on the back of my hand, quite a big blob of it, and I'm actually going to go back in with my kabuki brush and just dip into it, and then just go on the top of the cheekbones. Two lipsticks together. So what you're after is a berry colour and a red. There's two versions of this look. One's with matte lips and one's with gloss. So I'm going to do an example of both. And I'm starting off with the berry shade. So I've chosen to use my 266 brush. And I'll use a mirror down here for you so you can see. So I'm going to dip in the colour and coat the brush. And then I'm going to use the edge to make a point. So really take your time on this, you really want to get a perfect shape. It may be easier to use a berry lip liner and then either a red lip liner or a red lipstick afterwards. So I've just sort of pulled that a little bit down into the middle of the lip, and I'm just going to go around the edge of the bottom lip. And I'm going to use the edge of the lipstick now, just to build up the colour. Just really lightly. I'm going to take a brush and just blend that in. So such flare, just on the brush, and you're just putting it in the centre, middle of the lips. And just blend it in slightly to the lipstick. Next you want to clean up any mistakes, so just going to take a sponge and just work around your lip line. If you need to, go back in with a little bit of foundation or concealer just to correct your lip line. So my camera just cut out, so literally I've just put my hair up. We finished off the lips just by putting the purple around the side, the red in the middle, and just sort of blending it together. Now this is the first look because the lips were left matte, and you should be able to see that it sort of gradients into the red, and I just fell in love with it. I absolutely adored it. So all I'm going to do now is drop everything. All I'm going to do now is just use some of the Luminous Pressed Powder just to go over and set through the centre of the face and dab it on like so. And this is the finished look 1. So you see this, it's all about healthy skin. The eyes still look really done even though it's just spidery lashes. Make sure the lashes are spidery and not clumpy. There's a difference. And then look 2 is just putting a gloss on top. So I'm just going to put on the Body Shop. So I've just got the gloss on the back of my hand and just dabbing it on because I don't want to change any of the colour. It should make the contrast stand out even more. You try not to move any of the lipstick. And again, sometimes lip gloss makes things slide, so just go in and tidy up the edges. So that's it, we're all finished. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. Let me know what you think, if you prefer it with matte lips or glossy lips. And I will see you soon. Thanks.